Hey, what is good everyone? Theory here. We are back with some more Grand Blue, and today we're looking at a match between Hituzi, who is playing as Katalina, versus Tahichi, who is playing as Metera. If you watched the 3v3 Community Cup that was hosted in Japan, which was basically a bunch of different uh, people that played different games, so like you had like the Multi Blood team, you had the Gooey Gear team, you had the Samurai Spirits team, they all played against each other in Grand Blue, which is just such an awesome thing. Having all these communities cross over in one game is always such a pleasure anyway. But we also got to see it in a fucking brilliant game in Grand Blue. If you didn't watch it, go watch it on the Anime Illuminati channel. There's English commentary. But Tahichi was or is a Metera player who was playing for the Samurai Spirits team and was just fucking everyone up. And it was super awesome to watch. Um, Definitely go watch that. But I immediately went and found him on whatever the Grand Blue equivalent of CFN is, and started watching his matches. So today we're gonna watch one of them. So obviously this is all playing against a good player as well. This is not just some like random scrub. And this is a matchup that for Metera is an interesting one, right? There's a lot of like kind of extreme matchups in this game in terms of like aggressive versus defensive, but these are two quite well-rounded characters. Um, I'm interested to see how Catalina's going to use her EX Fireball, how she's going to get past all these approaches, and how Metera's going to actually set up mix. Because Metera can't just randomly go in for mix. She has to set it up, She's kind of like Dizzy in that fashion. So, how did he even work into the corner? I guess just capitalizing from the space right from the get-go. I'm not sure why he got a backdash here. It might have been a missed input, but immediately capitalizing on that and just working to the corner, which is great. You don't have to take too much. You don't really have to take any risk here. It's fine to just keep poking. Taking away her EX Fireball as well just completely changes how this matchup works. Katalina can't do nothing when she's not got a Fireball, when it's on cooldown, but she can't contend with the Fireball game. She's going to have to use her rolls, she's going to have to use jumps, and try and get into a range where, she can start using her far H, her far M. I'm not able to get there yet. Fucking just brilliant bait. No explanation needed. Just smart stuff using that mobility. Oh, great bait. And this is a thing that Metera struggles with, right? She doesn't really get that much from a mid-screen knockdown. She does get a little setup. It's not like the safest thing in the world, but may as well go for it. Knows the exact string to do to make that butterfly come back down. And just, yeah, seeing her just it's obvious that the Catalina is going to want to throw these EX fireballs, right? How else are you going to contend with Metera's constant string of projectiles? It's not like a normal projectile character where Catalina can kind of throw out her lunge and maybe hit you. These are fast projectiles, and they're 5H, shit like that. She's going to have to try and contend with her own fireballs a lot of time. And you can see that Metera's just completely taking advantage of this. Kind of a weird anti-air angle, her anti-airs are kind of weak and just really fluidly playing with these spaces. This is what makes a good Metera, is movement more than anything. And I love this movement. Using that jumping downward arrow. Oh my god, it begins. Let's just quickly wind back. This is why things like her, she's getting the occasional command jump in, is from using shit like that, the downward arrow. Giving the Catalina just so much to look for. That's the hardest thing. When you're looking for too many options, you're unable to anti-air. The simple stuff goes away. It's like really basic fighting game stuff that people forget. Just using it over and over again, those downward facing arrows. But there was the lunge we were talking about, and everything could go wrong here. One good counter hit can just be death. Dashing up. This is brilliant, yeah. Catalina, everyone knows she's top tier, right? But she's mids. That's all she is. She's just mids. They're very, very, very good mids, but they're mids. You're not having to react to anything bar the throw and the overhead, and they're not too super hard to react to options. So just sitting there and blocking for a while and waiting for the opportunity when the Catalina gets too overconfident just makes a lot of sense. I love this. He's just mixing up his strings so much in that corner. Not getting a flinch from Catalina, but still. Big whiff punish. Going to be able to set up here. It looked kind of like a safe jump. If not, it was close enough to it to dissuade him from anti-airing. Oh, amazing. That's such a cool setup. How did that whole sequence? How did you get the butterflies out for one? So I guess just when you're doing, 5H fireball, 5H fireball, then you can do 5H butterfly, and because the opponent's protecting the next fireball, right? So he's looking to roll forward, which is exactly what we saw. Then cancelling with this anti-air projectile, which also blows up the butterfly, and he could also convert off. Like, that's just so perfect. It's kind of hard to put into words. It's just fantastic play. It's amazing space control. There was no mix really in that whole set outside of like mixing up movement options, which is important. It was all just really good, solid footsies. But everyone gets cornered, man. Let's see how he actually set that option up. So this is the mid-range, right? Sees the dodge on the EX. And even if they're not dodging, you're going to run forward, right? They can't do anything to stop the EX unless they contend with their own. But even then, that doesn't really do much. So the dodge gives you the opportunity to run forward even if it's like that. So takes up this sort of space. Tries to throw out a 5H just in case Metera stayed in that same range. She walks back. But this is a space you can't get rid of, right? You can't give up as a Katalina. You have to be able to fight here and make reads here. And the reads are often jump, because jump, obviously, spoken about a million times. You can block Metera's up arrows, the 2 and 3, I believe, H. You can block those in the air, so that kind of, though it doesn't give you advantage, it takes away some of the risk of jumping and rolling forward. You get the roll forward, and you roll forward the 5H. She can't cancel into anything, leaves her vulnerable, maybe not punishable, but vulnerable still. This is always a good button, but being able to low profile the high fireballs is just an added bonus, right? Doesn't get a conversion off it due to the range, I assume. And he's just going to keep just pushing this corner pressure. And you see that, actually set that up a couple of times, right? So, knife just straight into the throw, and then 5L. 5L is like the gateway drug for mix when it comes to Katalina. You can get a throw off this, you can go into your close M, you get everything. Go straight into throw, and this time we'll see the frame trap. There it is. Doesn't get a conversion off that counter hit. Maybe he was expecting it to be close enough to get a close M, and then maybe that would have target comboed straight forward. Yeah, it just kind of gives up space when the butterfly was there until he had to make a decision. Makes sense. Good anti-air. This is another thing about this matchup in general, and one of the reasons why Metera kind of strays away from this. Being able to just press forward and 2 buttons as an anti-air makes command hop very hard to use. That's why we've seen so many baits from his side. This time doesn't bait it and just gets cornered immediately. He's going to have to fight his way out. This is classic patience we saw a bunch of times in the first round. Good counter poke as well. And there we go. He's worked his way out, but catches the hesitation there. I wonder if this was actually specifically to catch lunge. Because why else would you do that button right there? Maybe as like a bait. Maybe you're doing it to go like, hey, yeah, cool, roll at me, and then I'll punish you. Either way, gets caught out. Going to get a full conversion from the different ranges. You get different button conversions, and just really good sort of progressive overload when it comes to the pressure. It's going to get a big knockdown off this, and the pressure begins. That button, it's a fantastic button. It's a underrated button for sure. It's annoying obviously for Metera because she doesn't get to cancel off it. She can cancel into projectiles and stuff, but it's just one hit. Which, to be fair, most characters, far L's are like that. But it's got such a good range. On counter hit, it combos into 2M, which is awesome. That's why you see him follow up with 2M quite often. Just kind of predicting a counter hit. And yeah, I like that, using the projectile just to get back in. Obviously, you're sacrificing the threat of it in terms of damage, but it doesn't matter too much as long as you can keep Metera in that corner, which he cannot. He's just trying to once again force his way in with the EX. You see a lot of this is hinging on the EXs. Not just solely. He's working around when he doesn't have EX to spare, but a lot of it, the pressure game is hinging around that button, which makes sense. How did you get a bait from that close, man? Super jump, command dash, fireball, gets over the let's watch that again. That was sick. I just want to see all of that sequence. So pushes him back to the corner, spends the EX, stays far away, so he super jumps, command jump, throws a projectile out, and it makes a DP whiff. Doesn't get a punish on it. Maybe he would have got a punish if he did like a close L or something, but even still, taking away that option from Katalina is super nice. Alright, he's just going to keep pushing the issue. If he gives up this space now, he loses. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Just good counter poke. Yeah, if you give up that space, you can lose very quickly. It's where Metera suffers massively. Not having a reversal, you know, having relatively slow buttons, not being able to confirm off them, it makes it difficult. If you give up too much space, then, yeah, you're just ruined. Oh, I must have restarted and not edited it out, which is pretty hype. It's just a rewind, don't worry. Alright, so we're seeing a little bit more scrappy projectile play, which I think's good. Gets hit by that, which is actually a good thing to learn, right? Actually gets hit by the projectile and then goes into his own one. So gets hit by the standard projectile, cancels into the EX projectile, which beats trades with 5H. Very good tech to know. Gets knocked down with the EX, which is important. Means you get full Oki. I think this sweep here was a lot of the times Meteras will try and walk out of your pressure strings mid-screen. Makes sense. Low options are often not that threatening. You know, Katalina's 5M, 2M even. We'll rewind that. But her 2M is obviously not a low, so it's normally not that threatening walking back. That's insane. Like, whenever Katalina does that to me and just starts charging that, I immediately uninstall the game. And he gets perfect dodge on it. Did it early as well, so you get the full conversion. Baits the DP. No animation though, that's annoying. I wonder, did he do easy inputs on that? No, that was a proper thing. Because if you do easy inputs on supers, sometimes the hitbox you actually trigger the animation is smaller. So doing the manual inputs, it helps sometimes when you need to get the animation. Safe pressure, just moves away, starts zoning again. Yeah, smart option. Don't want to contend with a Katalina that's got that meter. You do have to be scared when you're like command hopping away, because she can just EX lunge at you. It's gonna get a knockdown here and the proper Oki. Good stuff. These strings are wild, by the way. Let's look at these. The strings that he's using are just crazy. So it's close M, 2L. Pops the first one, goes overhead to fight close M again, and that time it was far L, pops it again. Jesus, it's crazy creative strings. It's doing a really good job. This is all like, there's lots of gaps in this pressure, but you can't really do much about those gaps. Seems to use this setup a lot, which I like it as a setup. Preempt the you don't need to throw an arrow forward, right? Because the butterfly's blocking it. You need to stop them from jumping. And that's exactly what he gets. Doesn't get a conversion too far away, but still. What was that damage? Ah, the EX launch, that was that damage. That makes sense. Yeah, Katalina damage is the scariest thing about her. Ooh, you thought you were sick. Nah. You're going to get punished for that one, and that should be game, yeah. Animation. Yeah, I liked a lot of that hinged on the EX Fireball, which is different to when I see Goichi play the match. Goichi feels a little bit more like he was jumping a bit more and just closing space a bit differently. It's not like, say, Ferry, where versus Ferry you can run between her buttons and then dodge and stuff like that. He's scary in his own right, but he was instead just going like, okay, I will fucking trade with you. Because if you trade with my EX, you're still knocked down. And I still get Oki. So I don't care if I trade. It felt as if when he got rid of that option, though, it was very hard to work in. The dodges worked quite a bit. I didn't see any jumps. I know Metera is now a kind of like preempting you blocking it and going for more setups. So instead of trying to, like, you know, convert off a potential anti-air, they instead just go like, all right, I know you're going to just jump and block. I'll just come up with some sick setups to put you in for when you do land. And so that's kind of made her a lot more of a scary character and taken that option not completely off the plate, but changed the risk reward to it. Either way, that was a fun game to watch. I do just really like watching Metera's and Catalina's as well, to be fair. Yeah, like I said, if you hadn't watched that 3v3, go watch it. It's like a fucking masterclass in just like amazing play from all of these different players. So definitely give it a look in. And yeah, hopefully that was enjoyable for you, and take care of yourself.